Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind, to Transform Your Life, the podcast. This is Life Coach Myrna Young, and you're listening to 5-Minute Fridays with Coach Myrna. Today, I want to talk on the topic, sowing your seed in fertile ground and reap 100 times what you planted. I was doing some studying the other day, and I came across this scripture, and I thought, this is a perfect scripture for me to teach on, because again, it has spiritual value and it also has practical value. So let me share with you the scripture that I'm talking about. In Luke chapter 8, Jesus tells a parable of a farmer scattered his seed, and some landed on a footpath where the birds ate them. Some landed on rocks and died from lack of water. Some fell on thorns and grew up, but the thorns choked them. But the seed that fell on fertile ground produced a crop of 100 times what was planted. So in this solo coaching episode, I want to teach on finding the fertile ground to sow your seeds. Most of us waste our time planting seeds with people, places, and things that can't give us a return. This can be applied to various aspects of our lives, from career to relationships to personal development and investment. The metaphor of sowing and reaping is age-old. It always says that if you want to reap a bountiful harvest or even reap what you sow, you must choose your endeavors wisely, investing our time, energy, and resources in areas that hold the greatest potential for growth and returns. So how do we identify the fertile ground to sow our seeds? Again, like I said, this parable is natural, but it's also spiritual. In the natural realm, hey, you plant an apple tree, you're going to get apples, right? But now we're talking about sowing in the spiritual realm. So how do we identify the fertile ground? How do we know where to plant our seeds? This means that we have to operate with self-awareness and discernment. It means recognizing our strengths, passions, and talents and aligning them with our goals and aspiration. By doing so, we increase the likelihood of success and fulfillment. And then, the farmer plants the seed and he doesn't know what's happening underground. He's assuming that it's going to grow if he keeps watering it and giving it sunlight. But he has to have patience, because you don't sow and reap in the same season. So that's where patience and persistence comes in. The process of sowing and reaping is not instantaneous. Like I mentioned, farmers patiently nurture their crops, providing water, sunlight, and care until the harvest season arrives. Similarly, in life, we must exhibit patience and persistence, staying committed to our goals even when the results seem slow to materialize. Don't plant and expect to reap a harvest the same day. The season for planting and the season for reaping are two different seasons. I don't know if you've heard about the bamboo tree. The bamboo tree takes 5 years underground before you even see a seedling. How many of you know that if you're waiting for something for 5 years, you might give up? You might say, you know what? This ain't happening. But so it's important to know that you keep planting, you keep watering, you keep giving it sunlight, which is your attention, right? And sooner or later, you're going to reap or harvest. You also need the power of compound interest. Jesus says that if you plant in fertile ground, you will reap 100-fold. How many of you know that is compound interest, right? You plant a penny and you reap $1 million 30 years down the road. So just as a seed grows into a plant that produces more seeds, our efforts can yield compound returns over time. Consistent and sustained action in the right direction can lead to exponential growth, enabling us to reap rewards beyond our initial expectations. Ever seen an apple orchard? This is an example of sowing and reaping in the natural world. Yeah, one apple can become an apple orchard with acres and acres of fruit trees. So we also need to avoid wasteful efforts. Not all soil is fertile, just like Jesus said, right? And not all endeavors are worth pursuing. It is essential to evaluate where we invest our time and resources to avoid wasting them on unproductive pursuits or even unproductive people. Regularly assess the outcome of your efforts and be willing to adjust your strategy as needed. So in conclusion, I want to remind you to sow your seed in fertile ground and reap 100 times what you planted. It's a timeless reminder of the importance of deliberate and thoughtful actions in our journey towards success and abundance. By identifying our fertile ground, practicing patience and persistence, managing risk, and harnessing the power of compound interest, we can unlock our potential for remarkable growth and fulfillment in various aspects of our lives. So, as we wrap up this 5-minute segment with Coach Myrna, I want to tell you that to continue sowing, to continue building, to continue having your dreams, because sooner or later you will reap a harvest. And if your ground is fertile, you will reap 100 times what you planted. So I hope you were encouraged by this word today. If you're listening to this on iTunes, would love for you to subscribe, rate, and review. This allows me to reach a wider audience. If you're watching this on YouTube, well, I'd love for you to subscribe so that you can get episodes as they come on board every week. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, namaste.